Amanda and welcome to Books 101. Today I'm discussing a must-read book called Easy by Tammara. This is a great book. If you love modern love stories with no touch of fantasy or anything, then this is the book to read. The first time I saw this book, it was a couple of days after Valentine's Day, and my boyfriend had given me a gift voucher to go to the bookstore and just, go wild, go crazy. And I saw this book on back then the new displays. And the cover just attracted me because I thought, oh yeah, it's a romance. Oh. And because it has a beautiful cover. I saw the other cover for this and I actually like this one better, surprisingly. It was a cover attraction. So Easy's about a girl named Jackie for short, who follows her boyfriend to stay at college instead of pursuing her own dreams to go to a music college. Now that in itself is one of the biggest boo-boos you can ever make. So 3 weeks into the school year, Kennedy, Jacqueline's boyfriend, suddenly decides he wants to break up with her to nail other college girls. That idiot. And Kennedy tells Jacqueline that they shouldn't see each other anymore. Jackie then starts falling behind in her classes and gets recommended a tutor. One night, her friend Erin persuades her to go to this Halloween party. And of course, now she's single and ready to mingle and everything. And her friend just, wants her to go so, she can meet other guys and everything like that. And she leaves early because she sees Kennedy flirting with other girls. When Jackie leaves, she nearly gets raped. But then she's saved by this guy called Lucas. The book then follows the relationship that begins to form between the characters of Jacqueline and Lucas. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. If you're into books about real life issues, then this is a great book. Awesome book to read in public too. You just get masses of attention. I would suggest to read this book if you're maybe ages 14 and up, because they're very constant, in-depth scenes, which I'm not going to go into a lot now, but there are in-depth scenes. So yeah, I'd suggest this book for older readers. So that's the end of the non-spoiler section. Continue watching to be spoiled. If you don't want to be spoiled, click out. I love these two characters, and I love how Jacqueline becomes stronger in her own person when she meets Lucas, because after this breakup with Kennedy, of course she's going to feel, down in the dumps and everything and feel like she's not worth it to any other guy. But Lucas really just brings out the best in her and makes her more independent. It makes her think, you know what? I don't need Kennedy. I have Lucas, and he's 100 times better. I love reading about Lucas because he's not perfect, and that probably comes with having that experience in your past. I like how in the whole book you're just wondering who Lucas is and what secrets he's hiding, because, you see him as a martial arts instructor, a barista, tutor land in London. And, you see him as this range of things, and you're just thinking, who is Lucas? Who is Lucas? What's he hiding? Who is he? The story begins at this Halloween party. And Lucas saves her from Buck because she's about to get raped. Now, this Buck, let me tell you, is one of the most insane characters I have ever read about. Apart from, Drake in the Gone series, he is mental, this guy. I mean, how could you have someone running around like that, raping girls on campus? That's just ridiculous. Arrest him first sight, I get. The guy is so scary and unpredictable. Ugh, yuck. Dickerson saves it, and then it skips to 2 weeks ago. You see how Kennedy broke up with Jacqueline. I found that so cold. Just getting Kennedy and giving him a good slap. No offense or anything, but you've been dating this girl ever since high school. You claim to love her and everything, and all of a sudden, you want to break up with her to nail other college girls. How could you? This girl loves and respects you, and you want to go off and do that? Jacqueline, he's not worth it. Yeah, he's definitely up there with Buck on my to-hate list. And it actually shows sometimes that a person who has, everything right in life, like a guy and everything, may not always be the one to be the best type of guy. I have everything going for him at the end of the day, but yet he treats girls like this. You actually think about real life and, who to trust and if they're playing a game with you the whole time. Because obviously Kennedy was playing this game with Jacqueline the whole time. I love you, but yeah, you wanna nail all the college girls. Then, as you would, Jacqueline starts falling behind in her classes and gets recommended the tutor. Now, this tutor is Lucas, but we don't find that out till later. I love it when at the end Jackie's kind of playing hard to get with him, and he turns up at this party thingy and he dances with her, and it's just like, I did find it quite awkward though when Lucas asked to sketch her. I mean, if it wasn't that scenario, I'd be like, I just met you and you want to sketch me? No, that's not gonna happen. Funny, you know, because, you know, she's on the bed and everything, and she's like this, and then Lucas is just sketching her, and then Jackie's just like, and they end up making out, and they've only known each other for like a couple of days. It's like the attraction is there. Like, for all the good times in this book, then Buck tries to rape her again when she's innocently going to do her freaking laundry. Oh! That guy just needs to be put behind bars. My only doubt in this book would be the London, however you pronounce his name, situation. I found that went on a bit too long because he kind of starts to suspect who, you know, this guy was. It was cute how they started exchanging emails. You know, London was all like sticking up for her when she told him about the boyfriend scenario and everything. I thought that was cute. Kennedy starts thinking, oh shit, I've lost something good. Starts saying, I miss you, Jacqueline, I miss you. Oh! And Jacqueline was just thinking, you know what? I have Lucas. I don't need you anymore. Lucas is 10 times better at making out with me than you are. I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. Jacqueline then starts taking self-defense classes and Lucas teaches her. Ooh. Lucas then, you know, keeps asking her, are you okay, Jacqueline? Are you okay? He's always saying, are you okay? Because she goes back to playing hard to get. And Jacqueline starts to feel like she's a bit of a booty call for Lucas. I actually agree a bit with that. Because there were times in this book I thought, okay, they may be attracted to each other, they may like one another, but is there really a love there, or is it just lust? Yeah, so halfway through this book I was definitely thinking, is it just lust? Jacqueline then has to have Thanksgiving at Kennedy's house, and oh, Kennedy, my god, as if you wouldn't tell your parents that you broke up with your girlfriend. I think Kennedy's just very ashamed that he actually did it, and he's thinking, well, if I told my parents I'll look like a real coward. She comes back from Thanksgiving, she goes back to Lucas, and it's like, oh, my cat scene. And she gets sprung bad by Dr. Hallis, and it's so funny because she's like, oh, I just walked out of an apartment with him. And Lucas admits that, you know, Landon is his first name and Lucas is his middle name, and he kind of calls it off there between him and Jacqueline. Another reason why I think that, you know, it was a booty call off because, you know, he's a tutor and tutors can't have relationships with students. And I can definitely understand that, but this was the part where I was thinking, is it just lust? You know, I was really thinking it here. I changed my opinion at the very end of the book, but here I was just thinking that. I don't know if anyone else thought that as well. True, Jacqueline does learn, the more she's with Lucas, the more there's other guys out there in the world. You know, there isn't just Kennedy. And, you know, she goes back to Lucas and he's like, fuck it. And he kisses her. And I kind of thought, okay, he may really want something with Jacqueline. Maybe it's not just lust. Jacqueline then tells, you know, him about this Buck situation. Mindy, one of the minor characters, actually gets raped by Buck. The thing about Mindy is at the beginning she doesn't want to testify. You know, she doesn't want to say, oh yes, this did happen to me. In this situation, you would. It actually really makes you think, wow, you have to have a voice. You can't just hide away and pretend it didn't happen. You have to speak up and have a voice. I found it really sad about Lucas when he was younger, because when he tells Jacqueline that at school, he used to get into a lot of fights. He actually had feelings for her before she broke up with Kennedy, because he used to sketch her. I found it so true when he said that Kennedy was using her as an accessory. And that line was just so good because it totally matched Kennedy. Little Mr. Rich Boy, I can just play around with girls. Nah, mate, it doesn't work like that. And they testify against Buck. Find out about Lucas's past and how his mother was actually raped. And while that was happening, he was tied to a bedpost, and that's why he got the scars on his wrist. What I found really upsetting is that he keeps blaming himself for not being the man that night. And I just keep thinking, Lucas, it's not your fault. Okay, what happened that night, it's not your fault. Jacqueline kind of makes him see sense to that. Ending was very clever because it kind of, you know, had the deja vu feeling from the start. Walking out of Lucas's apartment and Buck nearly rapes her. This time she kicks ass and she gets Buck off her. Lucas comes in and he punches Buck and everything, and I'm just thinking, good, just punch that freaking dude. And Lucas saves her in that moment. I was thinking, wow, every single time, something like this happens, he thinks of his mother. So when he saved Jacqueline, he was probably thinking about his mother and how it happened to her and how he didn't want that to happen to Jacqueline. At the end, Buck is freaking locked up. I'm so happy. And, Kennedy's out of the picture, which I'm so happy about. Jacqueline finally does what she wants to do and applies to a music college. Lucas gets a job to be closer to her. Ends with the word easy. Really enjoyed reading this book. If I were to rate it, I'd rate it probably 9.5 out of 10. There were some bits where I just thought, I'd have to get through this. Overall, the plotline really hooked me into the book. However, really played on the real life issues that happen every day. And I think that's what really attracted me to this book. So that's the end for my easy book talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out more book talks, just head to my channel. I'm Miranda, see ya!